Yes, welcome, welcome. Yeah, welcome to another episode of Together We Rise, Building Our Nation. Been a while, but we are back on the platform, and I'm so happy tonight to be back with one of my old states friend, my cricket captain, Sheldon Townsend. Everybody who would have attended St. Elizabeth Technical would have known him as Kiati. You know,
Mad.
not pretty top, but Kiati. But well, we have seen that distance and time, people change and people have become and grown into, you know, the greater self. So after many years and reconnecting with the man, Mr. Sheldon Townsend, just to realize the man now have a new name in terms of the music industry. The man, as you can see, is a Rastafarian. Man is a man who is of music, the heart of music in the industry. And this evening, just want to say, welcome to you, Mr. Sheldon, aka Clatta Bumboo. Welcome to the platform, brother.
Manners and respect, Mr. Ian Thomas, our original tall pace. Original tall pace. Much respect, man, and glad to be here. Glad to be here.
All right, so, all right, boy, I mean, I don't know if you call it, but me, I'll call it, stick to the Sheldon, But really and truly, if you're looking at the background, you'll see the St. Elizabeth Technical High School. The entire background, just that our picture kind of feels out tonight, but
Yeah,
that's
me
it.
see the green, man. Me see the green. Me see the green. Me see it, don't know, man.
Yeah, man, it's a
Look
beautiful
familiar.
place, and I think for us, this is one of the places where it all started, work and integrity.
Yes, I. Yes, I. That ring, that work and integrity as a school motto, and probably about, I want to say, roughly 2 years ago. And you and I and Ian talk on your Ian and Ian program, like it was you that kind of not kind of you reignite, the mantra, work and integrity, or the matter work and integrity, and it has somehow, reinvigorate me to move forward, knowing say rain, snow, sleet, storm, dry time, wet time, I work and integrity, Yeah, man.
All right, boss. So, we know some of the audience may come on here and not familiar with the man, and know probably not even familiar with the voice that is out there. So
Yeah,
I want you to just take us back to Jamaica. We know you're living here in the United States, but the man
yeah.
basically came from Westmoreland to St. Elizabeth, states on a whole. Could you just tell us the journey in terms of, a little background?
Well, my government name is Sheldon Sean Townsend. I was born in the parish of Westmoreland, Tavlamar Hospital, and then we grew up in a village named Moreland Hill. And from Moreland Hill, went to St. Paul, Moreland Hill Primary, St. Paul's Primary, then Field Common Entrance, end up at Little London Secondary then. Denville Mackenzie and Ralston Mackenzie, top cricketers and cousins, were on their way to St. Elizabeth Technical to do entrance exam in order to participate in a head to cup cricket team. And I was invited on the trip, and I took the trip and met Dr. Bennett, met Junior Bennett, and got access to St. Elizabeth Technical. So we're talking about got into St. Elizabeth Technical in 1999, January of 1992, and stayed there until 1995. So Westmoreland, from Westmoreland to St. Elizabeth, yeah. That's how I got to stats. Cricket, my first love then. Cricket got me into school there.
All right. Cricket, and that's where my interest, like St. Elizabeth Technical High School, went there as an athlete, recruited at least as an athlete. I got injured early in the season.
Mm,
My mother said no more track and field. So I pivoted and turned all of the interest to cricket. And you were my first cricket captain. And I can tell the audience much about you. A man of discipline, a man who is always encouraging me. And even today when we talk, he said, boy, tell people throw the ball and trust the ball in your hand.
yeah, man. You have to do the thing, man.
You know,
the same thing carry over,
Yeah, man, and, it was a good little chemistry that we had there at St. Elizabeth Technical High School, knowing, that you have a leader that was, somebody who was firm, you open the button, that means you start it. You
Yeah,
have to
man.
show you have a
Yeah, man.
total.
Face the first ball too. Always want to face the first ball too. Yeah, man. At the same thing, I know it's the same thing now, tall pace. Like right now, I'm a venture living in North America. Um, one will quickly come to terms with who they are as a yard man, as a Jamaican, as a person who is cultured a certain way, or cultured to be Jamaican. And honestly, I cannot understate how important the St. Elizabeth technical experience has been and continues to be. Because, to be in charge of 11 players at the age of 15, in a final, watching like the players who play Headley Cup when they come down to play under 16 who are of age because their season closed before ours, and you still retain leadership role. You're still the open pace bowler. I am still the open batter and still the captain among the bigger, better players. Yeah, man, those kind of experiences carry through life, man. And them experiences carry me right now, man.
All right, Sheldon. So, let the people them know that, we are aware that there is a hurricane or a storm that is in the making,
Yeah,
threatening
man.
Jamaica, the Caribbean island into Cayman, and it's coming here in the US. So, what we have decided to do, based on the human side of us, believe in safety. We have not decided in terms of going into the depth interview that we had planned for tonight. In that
Definitely.
I go right across from the culture, the music, poetry, the dance, the lifestyle of the Rastafarian faith. But instead, we have decided to just come here and just encourage everyone, to just shore up the place, just in case, this hurricane passed by. So, we really just wanna say we wish everybody, a safe time during this hurricane. And if you have not started preparation, we say be aggressive at it. It's better to be safe than sorry. Better you prepare and so guess what? The storm not come your way, then it come and things happen.
And
So
when I'm ready, true, man. True, man. We encourage everybody to be vigilant. And we in a social media time in life and right now, so we need to pay attention to our phones and track the thing and know where the thing is and see what we can do to secure ourselves. Definitely, man.
yeah, so that is the most important part of it. But nevertheless, we still decide, a few things we may touch on before such a big interview, which will announce the date that we're gonna be coming back. But
Definitely, man.
so one question I'm gonna ask you still, Sheldon, is that we know ballhead growing up, you may have had the Rasta heart, but we wanna know how did that came along in terms of the whole transition, adapting the Rasta faith or culture and a whole, you know.
Yo, you see, when I was in primary school, I was charged to go to the tailor with my khaki material come come August for September. So school would open first Monday in September. And even though one of my cousins was a tailor, him have the best machinery, him couldn't seem to get it right. But there's a Rasta man that live ironically in a little section of the community where them call Lodge. And the man named Class, Rasta Class. Them man they, them man they just have a machine and a box with some material. And I him sew everybody uniform. Every school youth from Moreland Hill, we go primary school, basic school, and him sew them uniforms. I mean, I always watch the man there and watch how the man they live simply, and how efficient and effective he was. Him take a measurement and him always on. That was really my first, that about 8, 6, 7, that was really my first real connection with a Rasta man as a industrious or a productive from a productive standpoint. And every time I would get my clothes, even going to St. Elizabeth Technical, if I would go to a tailor and him don't get the thing right, I would still go back to that elder day. And then by age 13, them time there, we decide so me I go leave Westmoreland and come to St. Elizabeth Tech. I him same way more than go to. And then would have reached that age now where the reasoning would be up. And a boy sit down over this no more. I would you know, talk. question asked and answer given. And the answers were always pretty simple. And the simple was profound to me then, and it continues to be so. Um, my mother, end up, when I was in St. Louis Technical, I would come home and I would smell weed in the house, and I would figure my mother was smoking weed, but my mother was then with a Rasta man, And my family never really take on to him like that. And even though when I say clean, the man clean, everything about the man clean, the man eating, the way him carry himself, he was a taxi operator, him vehicle, the cleanest vehicle. And when it come to work ethic and them thing, the man they on point. The man they always a push. Another Rastafari influence again. And then reggae music, I don't know if you know me used to sing when me the stats, so me go stats me used to sing wholly. So Burning Spear was a big part of my life as I grew up. Israel Vibration, as I that the elder them used to play around with. And we always see Rasta as stars, Rasta as I said, productive people, tailors. And Rasta became a stepdaddy, and we see how the man live progressiveness again. It all clicked when I moved to the United States like 20 years ago. When I first came here 20 years ago, I realized how easy it was to get lost in the United States. And when I say lost, I don't talk about go around the street and lost. I talk about all the distractions there are. And the access, how deep the access is. A man can work him hard earn money, and within seconds him lose it and him don't know what part him income gone. A man can get caught up in drugs. A man can get caught up in fast cars, women, the whole thing. The distraction is very deep. And more so, there's like an intellectual distraction where I live in Providence, Rhode Island, and it's where the illustrious Brown University is here, is Johnson and Wales University, Rhode Island School of Design, just to name a few. And I dropped into the nest of intellectual approach to life where everybody's telling you, oh, the book I read, or everybody's, oh, I went to this university. My parables got turned on when I started to read the speeches of His Majesty Emperor Selassie. My parables got turned on when I decided to go back to school. I decided to go into college. And the more educated I became, the more necessary it was to help to hold on to what I know. And the more I held on to what I knew, the more I leaned to what impressed me as a youth. See? Rastafari as a movement. Rastafari as an approach to living. And honestly, I will tell you this. I don't consider myself Rastafari. Like you see some other youngsters, some other elders wanna come right out and say, yo, man, a Rasta. I consider myself a student of Rastafari. Yeah? Because what we think we know is given to us mainly in popular culture. And once we start to dig into those who the people within the popular culture sphere champion, for example, Marty Maplano, who the man who the head of government called when His Majesty Emperor Selassie came to Jamaica to clear the tarmac, that same bushy Rasta man. I read a couple of his writings, and then that kind of knocked me straight to say, being Rastafari doesn't necessarily mean you're going to not eat certain things, or you're not going to link with certain people. You have to have a certain stance, peace, love, unity, community, family. Hail His Majesty Emperor Selassie. I do that, so that's why I wear my Ethiopian pin, because this identifies me as somebody who looked to His Majesty Emperor Selassie, late Emperor of Ethiopia, for some kind of guidance. So that's what I consider myself, a student of Rastafari. And I wouldn't say me a Rasta, because just wearing my pin, sometimes I'm sitting outside in like at the park, and a random person who hails from Ethiopia would just come and not ask me things or ask me questions, but lecture to me. what is my pin, who is it, the root of it. And 4 or 5, 6 times I've had lectures from complete strangers, about me, about who you are, saying this is who you are, this is where you're from. And as I say, living in Providence, Rhode Island, where it's an intellectual center, everybody is brilliant, And as that become my norm, I start to move closer to myself, closer to who I am. Rasta, what you see as Rasta, I would say, yeah, it's me coming closer to me, my complete self, not conforming to certain things or certain ways of life. And is a student of Rastafari. Still learning every day. I wake up, I learn something new about the movement, what it stands for, how it impacts the world, and the man who some Rastafari elders or Rastafari, modern Rastafari, call God and King. I'm learning things about him that are not too favorable, are not too nice. He was an emperor. He was an emperor. Yeah, there's stain on his garment. A lot of it.
Yo, that was deep. I was here and I was really listening. That was deep, and that tell me of someone who is educated and someone who actually seek further knowledge and guidance.
Yeah, man. So I root I so even as I say, student of Rastafari, Bridget. Student of Rastafari. Am I and I will leave that point by saying this. May I always hear them talk about mystics. Marley said there's a natural mystics flowing in the air. Peter just called himself a mystic man. Mystics, I have come to learn, are people in ancient times who would enter a monastery or say a monastery. They will enter from 7 years old, and when they come out of the monastery, they are 47 years old. And when they come out, they are doctors, they are astronomers, they are athletes, they are mathematicians. 40 years of solid schooling. I'm only 45, and I just learned about the mystics like 10 years ago. So I'm relatively young, student of Rastafari, Bridget, straight up.
Student of Rastafari. I touch on a little era here, and I know I'm not a historian, but I know a little bit of history, and I know the Rastafari movement start way back in the 1930s, and our own Marcus Mosiah Garvey was a man who led, I think, the whole revolution, and he had put in a lot of work. But in today's culture, I'm just going back even to our own little country, Jamaica. I don't think enough emphasis have been placed on the whole Rastafarian faith as part of our culture, where it is implemented. I say it should be implemented in every single curriculum, starting from the infant school, basic school, right across. But we have seen the lack of support for the whole Rastafarian faith on the ground, even in our country, even though Rastafarian and Rasta man have brought so much popularity to Jamaica, and we could go and reflect all the way back. But we know one of the most standout one is Bob Marley, reaching the world nation and nation. As a matter of fact, today, some of his lines that he used in his music are like the man was actually having a vision of what was to come in the future, which we are living in those days. But yet still, I don't see where the emphasis have been placed on it. As I said, you talk a lot about the education and the education system and all of that. But into our own, local culture, it seems like it is lacking and are not enough has been done. I don't know if you can just kind of touch on that.
So this is how I look at it. Marcus Garvey, not to correct you, but to enlighten.
Educate.
It was Leonard Howell who started the Rastafarian movement, on the premise that the King of England is not for you and it's not for me, and it's and we can look on it from a racial standpoint, we can look on it from a socioeconomic standpoint, we can look on it from a religious standpoint, So His Majesty Emperor Selassie was said to be Marcus Garvey predicted the coming of a black king. So I think that's where the association between Marcus Garvey and Rastafari is. But Leonard Howell is the man who said, okay, move away with King James and look to Ethiopia. It was predicted by the roundhead man, say, we're gonna get a black king. See him there? Him look like we, him speak on behalf of us. And when you look into the 1930s and you look upon His Majesty Emperor Selassie, he was trying to bring Ethiopia into the modern age. So he was looking toward Europe. He was looking toward the West. Illustriously so. Properly adorned. Not a king, but an emperor. You know? So imagine living in the 1930s. You're still living on the plantation of Jamaica. And you have praise a white guy who live in England who is supposedly a king. Police beat you because you grow out your hair. Your parents disown you because you grow out your beard. The pitney them afraid of you because them say you have black heart. You understand what I say? And then here comes Leonard Howell, who was a world man. He was a deckhand on ships. And he traveled the world. Them and they go as far as the river Danube. Yeah, them and they go off the coast of Africa. Pan ships, started in Panama. I think he started in Panama, working on the Panama Canal, and then he traveled the world. So when he came back with books and worldly ideas. And he in my estimation, he could have given substance to the racial divide to say the white man is not better than you. You know? If you would only not look to him as a king and if you want a king, look to His Majesty, because him would be more in favor of you. And for him, and His Majesty line of argument is unity among us. Unity for all, global love, world love, you know. Thus Bob Marley sang, until the philosophy that whole one race is superior and another inferior, there'll always be war. Until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the colors of his eyes, there shall be war. This is His Majesty's speech. No other emperor, no other king, no other man of power, no czar, no preacher guy that wasn't speaking like that. You know? Which made His Majesty Emperor Selassie for black people in those days, the perfect man. And he remained so to some extent, measuring ignorance among the people. Because as I say, we as a people, and I said black people, we're still getting our information from hearsay. Not many of us is willing to go to the library and spend some time or use Google as a search engine or as a library. Google is really a library, you know. So what are YouTube, whatever you want to know about certain rulers or certain kings, the history is there now, and it's at your fingertips, yeah. So to come to schools, wasn't it last year in Jamaica? There was this big controversy where a young girl got her hair cut in school by the teacher, and it went to the courts, and the court system upheld the teacher's action as right. Now tell me something now, Ian. Which part in America a teacher can cut off, a white teacher can cut off the hair of a white kid because she feels that it don't look good?
Should never tolerate those things.
Yeah, but that's what I say. So look on me now as a 45-year-old man. Do I look like I'm deficient and hungry? Do I look like I'm sick with my natty? No, this is the best of me. This is the best of me. Yeah. We take on to the lion totem, because look for me look like a puss. Me's a lion, brother. You see me I say, and if you decide say yo grow out your ear and you come to your natural image, you're going to get some backlash and say yo, you're turn Rasta, when in essence you are Rasta. You dig what me I say?
I dig it, man.
every time we go in the bathroom and crepe off our face, we're stopping the progression of our real self. Now the school system is not run by Jamaicans. The school system is not run by black people. The people who are in the schools as principals and administrators, they are more likely wishing and hoping that they'll get a chance to see the Queen one day, because them doing the Queen's work. You understand? Them doing the monarch's work, which is to keep the children educated to an extent, and in many cases dumb them down so they will not become themselves. Why would they put Marcus Garvey in the schools? For the betterment of Jamaica, for the betterment of the region, the betterment of the hemisphere. Yeah? Why would they put His Majesty Emperor Selassie, the teachings of His Majesty, in the school system as a part of the curriculum? It's to better black people, better Jamaica, better the hemisphere. No. Does this hemisphere want you and me to be having this conversation in an intelligent way? No, because this is going to be an example to other youngsters that, black people are very intelligent, not fairly, very intelligent. You see me I say? So Rastafari run the world, man. You're not asking me, I tell you. Rastafari run the world.
Some strong point there. And at the same time, I just want to acknowledge Alden Honigan, man from States. You know Alden,
Yeah,
Alden,
man.
big up yourself, Alden. It's a
man.
Good feel.
A Rastafari run the world, man. I want Mr. Rastafari run the world, man. We can't give example, man. Can't give example right now.
The platform is yours, brother. And it's a moment to educate, with them.
Let me tell you something, man. And don't take this thing simple. People don't take this thing simple. And we have, as you say, we can declare some me that a historian. I declare some me a student of Rastafari. But me a singer-songwriter. And I can tell a guy this. You see, a man who had trod earth and all him see himself is as a man, him deficient. Because it's not a man him come from. Him come from a woman. See? And it takes a woman and a man to create a child. See? So you have a guy now disrespect him mother, and him disrespect him sister, and him disrespect him auntie, and him disrespect him female cousin, and him disrespect him woman. It's because him don't have no real connection with him feminine side. He's not really connected to himself. He's not really connected to him mother. And too many of us as men are walking around this earth, not realizing that we have a feminine side, not realizing that we can be soft. We don't always have to be this brush. We don't always have to be tough. See? His Majesty Emperor Selassie the first of Ethiopia is the first world leader who crowned him queen with him on the same day. King and queen crowned same time. Is it a simple gesture, my virgin? If you show you say, Rastafari, His Majesty Emperor Selassie, is about life. It's about the future. It's about humanity. Him and no guy in a grey suit run up and down with 25 man. And even though him is a man where champion Jesus as Lord and Savior, His Majesty Emperor Selassie never travel with 12 man. The man they are pre family and pre country and pre people, pre humanity, The schools now gonna put that in them system, Bridget.
Well, that is sad, That's a sad story.
A long time it's sad. When a mother especially I go look upon her youth, we decide now say more growth in here. And she call him ugly, bushman, dirty man, black heart man, all kind of name. What she do for him? What she do for her own legacy? When she follow the slave master and condemn her own child in his beauty, in his true essence. You see what I say?
Really, I think about it. Rastaman, as I said, you guys and the whole Rasta across the world have been oppressed, and basically a lot of opportunity have been seized because, as you see, a man brought him here a man take on a certain culture. And a lot of time, as I said, a Rasta man get in a situation where he back up on the wall and he have to come off a certain way to really defend himself and stand up. And some people look on Rasta in that way as being illiterate or whatever, based on the fact that he might protect him culture and him know where him stand. But yet still the people within him surrounding really just want to suppress him for just where him stand for. And I know that it's something that have hit the faith, even though we have brought so much acknowledgement to the culture and our people and everything. But every single day, a Rasta man is being basically oppressed somewhere across the world.
Yeah. So the Rastaman plight is the black man plight. The black man's savior is the Rastaman. You understand? I can explain that. The man who decide, say, yo, I'm going to wake up in the morning at sunrise and go clear some land, till some soil and plant some seed. So, all right, your daddy down at St. Elizabeth is a farmer. He's a Rasta man. It's just the church may get the better of him, so him clean up. And society may get the better of him, so him clean up and him shave up and him groom himself and him wear a baseball cap, and him shirt tuck in him pants. A Rasta man, the man who is considered a Rasta man, he might live out him thing. You see me I say? The confusion lies within the ignorance of the mind, man. I bet you say, me tell you this, and you probably feel it crazy, Most of the youth them where you say our champion reggae music right now, we can't call them. Look on Protege, look on Chronix, look on Janine, look on Kabaka Pyramid, Jesse Raya. You think them youth, they're not done suit them?
Man, them up. Knowledge up.
Them want the thing up, man. You think for chat globe. Them man they trample on the whole of Europe and trample on the whole of Africa and them place there. Janine come from Chilani, Seventh-day Adventist, daughter of a pastor. Left and go University of the West Indies. Graduated with her business degree. And after graduation from the University of the West Indies, she became one of the top female reggae musician / poet. And when you listen to that, the lyrics, and listen how she flow. Yeah, it go fly over enough man head. Fly over enough people head because, as I said, the ignorance. Oppression is in the ignorance of the mind of the people oppressed. Because they see themselves and it's stronger than they are. That's why the oppressor can oppress them. You see what I say? So, at the end of the day, the man who, the Rasta man were under pressure, him have to know himself and him have to take away himself from pressure. You see what I say? And turn to the land, turn to your family and turn to your community. And them thing they really matter, brethren. I know what boss man say. I know what boss man say. What really matter is what you feel yourself and I say community. Employing oneself to till the soil and deal with food. Preserve your community and preserve your environment and them thing.
The fact that you got touched till the soil, one thing I really admire about the Rastafarian faith is their lifestyle in terms of their eating habits and nutrition. And at the same time, as a nurse, working in the health industry for a long while, I've seen where it seems as if the Rastaman is doing the right thing. Because when I go into work, I can count 1 or 2 Rastaman for the entire year or over a 5-year period, probably a 5 on my finger will show up in the hospital with most of the disease will affect the regular human being. They might go through a battle with such disease. But when you check, Rastaman seem to live a healthy lifestyle. So I
Rastaman, original virgin. All right, we go look on Jamaica. Obesity in Jamaica rampant, rampant. Let me say rampant there. Diabetes, you know. Early onset diabetes, you know. We talk about type 2 diabetes. See me I say? Rampant at Jamaica. Cancer rampant at Jamaica. Heart attack rampant at Jamaica. And you look on how the Jamaicans deal with food. How we deal with chicken back, and how we deal with pork, and how we deal with them thing there. Them thing there some slave master thing, you know, some canned pork and oxtail and them thing there. Them thing there some slave master thing, you know, brethren. You see me? Rastaman are the original vegan. If vegan is something to reckon with. All right, open up for me city here. Them have a liquor store where you can go in there, you can get juice blends. Tall paste, no ounce of a lie. A 16-ounce smoothie run you $11 US. Some strawberry, some raspberry, some almond milk, and a piece of ginger. Rastaman and beetroot and carrot and ginger for how much are them they sitting there we go up on beetroot and carrot. A Rastaman and yam kalalo, steam kalalo and some kegs. Steam kalalo and some roast beefroot and your thing bang up, your belly nice. You see me I say mango and ginger. You see me I said, and right now in the US, them thing they become the most expensive of food. You know, you can buy a soda for $1, but you can't get an orange juice for less, a 16-ounce cup of fresh squeezed orange juice for less than $8-9 US. You see what I say? So, all Rasta people eat. Yo, and every Rasta I'm just vegetable, you know. Rasta man have the right for nyam when you want nyam, you know. But even so, the man who live to a point where you see him start growth him here, him not use alcohol, him don't use pills, so it's about medication or class C drugs. You know, he would prefer feeling pain than to take a Vicodin. You see me I say? Him now want an antidepressant. You see me, he go run up and down in kickball. Him a 50-year-old, him a kickball and him a run. Yo, him and Rasta have a right method, man. In terms of nutrition. Whole foods. Big and serious. Whole foods. No process nothing. You know? A Rasta man, I first man missing him bulgur. It look like I trash from the wheat. Rasta man and them white flour. Most Rasta and them white flour. A wheat flour, more wholesome. There's more nutrition in it. Rasta people and them white rice. No Rasta people and them white rice. A brown rice, it take almost an hour to cook a decent pot of brown rice. You know, Rasta man, you know, see the Rasta man go buy oil. Some dry coconut him have and him grate up that and him cook down that to custard and to oil. And I saw him get him fats. You see me I say? So, a long time Rasta have a formula, man. Spring water, no, man. Yes, no, man. All the minerals, everything there. Rasta stick him face in the spring and drink the water. He's not gonna pipe or drink the chlorine water.
You know, there's a lot to learn from you, and I can't wait till when we have a dig deep into these things and where people have to look for now. We just have to give you a little.
We have to just, my brethren, you see music, you see what we consume for entertainment have a lot for how we life live. And that's why we eat alone. The type of music we listen to, the books we read, if we do read. You see me I say? What we watch on TV, the relationship we have with the parents. You see me? Mainly, man, we are what we consume, man. Not just food, brethren. Not just food. We are what we consume.
Yeah, man. You see with that now, I going to touch on the music because, you know, bring you on, but enough people don't even know the full details of you and the music and what you have out there. So,
see me, brethren.
In a minute, just tell the people them, when you have a road, them know say, yo, can I tell you something, people? I am a man who, I like Rastaman music from Bob Marley all the way up. But to the younger generation, Richie Spice and Garnet Silk, them are my youth, them there. I actually, I say criteria when Garnet Silk pass. because
Murder.
Garnet was just like a brother in the community to everybody, no matter where
Murder.
you come from. You come like him, your brother in the community, and the music, the voice was
Murder. Murder. Murder.
and,
Murder.
and I tell you, you know it, but you have a clean voice and you have a great message. So I've listened some of your music, and this is one of even the reason why I choose to take time out of my day to really sit down with you. Because if you don't have nothing to offer the world, because I tell you, this platform, Together We Rise Building Our Nation, is really about one helping the other in whatever way we can better oneself or better a next person. Guess what? And
Yeah,
I'm ready
man.
to sit in with someone. And I know
Yeah,
through your
man.
message and your music that is something that is clean. And so tell the people and what go on this.
Well, musically, if you're there online now, you can see say my name is Clatta Bumboo. And why me choose the name there is because I needed word sound that best reflected my energy. How me go about life, how me go about things. We can go into details about the name one next time still, but music saved me in the first world. If it wasn't for reggae music, then I would probably be doing something else. But and when I say something else, I probably would not be here. I should be clear. If it wasn't for music, I wouldn't survive the first winter in the Northeast. And you know, I was in a biracial relationship when I first came to the United States. And Regin, you see the culture shock, wicked, 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 wicked. And no disrespect to the man with the dancehall music, especially modern dancehall music, because music is music wherever you go in the world. See? Music is music, and music have purpose. Every song, every moment of a song. And it not necessarily it could be a reggae song. It can be a dancehall song or a soca song. But you say if I never have reggae music, my virgin, me no know what mood and day. I used to sing a whole heap when me from me I go States, me used to always sing. I used to sing at the church. Me used to sing pan sound system as a youth, see? But it's when me coming at the first world, my brother, music became a significant part of my coping mechanism. I'm a coping, my coping tool bag. You know? You're like you have to go work and you're working outside and it's 30 degrees outside and snow. You better put some Bunny Wheel in your ears. You better put some Bob Marley in your headset. You see me I say? And then, as I say, you are what you consume. The more you listen to roots music, if you leave yourself open, it is not a Lord, take me to heaven and Lord, deliver me from all my problems. It's a, yo, get up and move and do what you must do to survive.
All right.
You dig what I say? It is not a sitting down and waiting for a rapture. It's a getting up and look for opportunities. You see me I say? It is not a waiting for handouts because the Lord is going to give us and save us. It's a go build a respectful relationship with people. Find yourself and go build a respectful relationship with people. So the left can wash the right. You see me I say? So my music is kin to the music that I listen to, that I used to listen to as a youth, and especially the music that saved me since me coming here. Since me coming here, the belly of the beast as a Rastaman would I say. So it's very Marley-esque. It's in the vein of Marley. It's in the vein of Wailers, I should say. Aston Barrett and Carlton Barrett drum and bass lines influenced my sound a lot. Sly and Robbie influenced my sound. Mafia and Fluxy, Style Scott and Flower Hole. And we're talking about the musicians though. We're not talking about the stars. You see me I say? Talking about the man them Light Parks. You talk about the man who actually China Smith, the man who actually play instruments. The music there saved me, so me lean to the music there. And I'm fairly intelligent, so instead of keeping journals, I would write lyrics and I would sing it. I would just sing it in my day to day. And when the time came where I wanted to get involved in the music industry, I started to write songs and then I would demo them and send them out to artists and then would turn them back. And I say, yo, if you are sing the song so and a demo you send, come give me. Sing your song yourself, yeah, man, because you can't sing the song the way you sing them, So go and sing them yourself. And after a couple turned down, we decided to put out a record. So I put out the Future Water EP 2020. And then we put out Catalysis Miles Deep in the Attic in 2021. And before that in 2019, I put out She's a Rebel, We Are Chosen, and Baseline. Put out a tune named Noja. And I put out a dubplate project with a sound system in a Trinidad and Tobago named Solid Rock. And then I put out a mixtape. And then Ricky Trooper from Sound Trooper. That's after Ricky Trooper. Ricky Trooper, who was instrumental in Garnet Silk's rise, lean to my music and like my music, so I'm playing my music a lot on TB and reggae radio. Download them up and check it out. Them play a lot of good, them playing good music. However, there's a Clatta Bumboo music play. Only TB and reggae radio. So you can find the music, CLATTABUMBOO. You can find it on all major platforms. We just put out a live tape, which is a performance we did on September 3rd, 2022 at a place called Grant's Block in the heart of Providence. So that is on YouTube right now, only on YouTube on the Clatta Bumboo channel. So CLATTABUMBOO. Once you put that in our Google, you're golden. You know, we have a presence. So you will find the stuff. And if you go to YouTube and you're listening to stuff from YouTube, yeah man, click on one subscribe man and beef up the thing man, and you know, so the thing can rank up in the search engine so we can get the message across. The music is about work and integrity. The music is about forward movement. The music is about family. The music is about communities. The music is about pain. The music is about, you know, oppression and getting over oppression. The music is about depression and trampling depression. The music is about life, man. Straight up.
All right, a quick question, because you talk about depression and all of them something there. COVID, pandemic, the whole situation there. How you get through that period there, you know? You know that kind of hit every year.
Yo, we just mentioned Ricky Trooper from Sound Trooper and TV and Reggae Radio. When the pandemic dropped, Ricky Trooper and him brethren decided to launch a radio station named TV and Reggae Radio. And them have a thing on a Wednesday night with them called New Tune Wednesday. I have a brethren in New York, rest him soul, Short Boss. Him call me up and say, Ricky Trooper radio station now, we're going to send the song them to him. And Ricky Trooper get the song. And from the man get the music. From, I want to say, July of 2020. The man play the music every Wednesday and every Monday. And he give me one motivation. Now, Ricky Trooper is a man when we used to look up to Jara sound when we go States. You see me I say? We used to listen Jara Wally, and if you have them man there hungry with music now, that is a big motivator to wake up and go work, go studio at night, cut the song them, get them mixed to a point, boom, send them to Ricky Trooper Wednesday night. We sit down in our house, in our apartment, with the brethren them, eat some food, and listen to the song them come through the net. You see me I say? That was a big help as it relates to pandemic depression. Studios, we want to say hats off to the studio operators in Providence, Rhode Island, Pawtucket, Rhode Island, and West Kingston, Rhode Island. The man them keep them doors open for the brethren. You see me I say? And what we can do in the studio, we do it virtually. You see me? We record probably about 3 albums in the pandemic. You know? The music saved man. The music saved it. The music saved the relationships where we did develop before the pandemic. And all the big plans we had before the pandemic dropped. And how ignorant we were to not see it coming. You know? Like you check out the patterns, you know. How ignorant were we to not see this depression coming? What are the music saver, man? And couple loved ones where we decide say, yo, we all do the pandemic together. Because that's a big part, I think, you know, Ian. We have some people around me where say, Mr. say you're serious and I'm going to support you. And then people say we in a pandemic. And then you have some important people we drop with you, you know. Some people are the important in our life. Holy matrimony and them thing, they them drop we, Put we out too, Yeah. And I try to build leverage upon we thing, you see me I say. And being left out in the pandemic and in the cold kind of motivate the thing, And I say, yo, we are gonna do some music. We are gonna do some music where I gonna lift we up and I gonna lift up the diaspora. Because I never make music for the privileged man. You see me myself, suit and tie bring nothing to the table. I never them where I make music for. But I make music for people who like we live in New York City, we live in Baltimore, we live in parts of Florida where come from the Caribbean and depressed under their chest. Yeah, man. I music save we in a pandemic, man. Definitely, we can say that.
All right, boss. So, when I'm planning to stay here so too long, but as I see, you have a vast amount of knowledge, and
Yeah, well, my youth, so I tell them man, say that's why when we say Ian, and we know say it's a safe place,
Yeah, man. So, really,
It's a safe place, man. It's a safe place. So we give thanks for it, man.
yeah, man, you put a lot on the table, yeah. A whole for highlights and a whole it more to come. So, the only thing I want you to close out with really is, in terms of the message for the youths them, because we know the youths them, some of them last. But, as a Rasta man, and a Rasta man who is pretty much educated and pretty much connected, as a youth growing up, because I can say this, most of them youth here I grew up, the most they know about Rasta and the Rastafarian faith is that Rasta man have long hair or dreadlocks, a Rasta man born weed. That is just like a norm thing where them just, yeah, Rasta man that. But really and truly, the details and the depth of the Rastaman culture and faith and everything, which you just got a quick overview, is way, way deeper than where them people see on the service, and even educated people. Because even tonight here, I learn a lot just from you, just, mentioning some of the things that you mentioned, really, open up my eyes. Because I know even people say, Rastaman thinks they still see a God and all of them something. And it's a concept of them build up and them.
Yo, Bridget, as me say, you back a dog in the corner, brother. See? And you had on lick on him. And him see a way out. Him bite him way out, Him bite him way out. People under oppression and people under pain and stress, people under slavery, lost them language, lose them name, lose them homeland, lose them families, lose them communities, lose them kingdoms. A dear man a drowning man grab on pants straw, man. You see me I say? And when you hear Rasta say His Majesty Emperor Selassie is God and King, leave the man alone and make the man do what he do. You see me I say? Because it's better than calling King Charles God and King. That's how you think starting now. His Majesty Emperor Selassie, even though in flesh, has presented a mirror for me and you looking at. You dig me, General?
Get it, man.
It's a mirror. It's a reflection of me and a reflection of you. You say, I am him and him is I. You see what I say? So that's why Rasta man say, I and I. When a man reach out to you as a Rasta and him say, I and I, him don't take them things simple. I and I there. It means say, yo, are you and him? Are him and him God? Are him and him and himself? You see me? So if a man say, he's want to see Emperor Selassie is God, I want him know. Him doing the best him can. You see me I say? But on the premise of on the premise of education, if we did follow Marcus Garvey's strategies and follow Marcus Garvey's teaching, Marcus Garvey say, we youth them need to read 3 hours per day at minimum. And this is not homework given by the teacher. This is a child who is able to read, who is reading for his or her own interest. So if a child is forced to be a doctor by her doctor father and her doctor mother, but she's interested in the law, at least 3 hours out of the day should be taken to read law books. That's a simple solution, you know. For the ignorance problem, you know. 3 hours a day. Someone just read the Bible. And I only book him want to see. So him limit himself. Him limit himself to Shakespeare. Thus, experiences that are deeper than his own consciousness. You know? Him limit himself to the Kebernegas, Book of Kings. Him limit himself to the root of His Majesty Emperor Selassie. If him don't read His Majesty, is the same man when him call God. If him don't take up them man the speeches and read them. Him limit himself. Him limit himself to what somebody did tell him.
That is the problem.
That is the problem. It's the ignorance. So again, if no man can tell me what to think and how to think, and tell me say, yo, you know this because you this, and you this because you know that. Me and him not really have nothing to talk about. You see me I say, because me know say there's no end, there's no limit. It's infinity. You see me I say, you will live on your youth them and me will live on my youth them. That's how I say thing go. And your youth them you are going to live on them. You see me? So best practices, man, is to lead by example, man. Seek Rastafarian, man, it's not a bad thing. And some may not see it as the best thing, but try it and see what happens. Just try the perspective. You know, don't bite if it does need for bark. And don't bark if you need to keep quiet. And them thing the Rastafari bring to the table. You know?
Well, just want to say, boy, thanks to the time you put in the music, you put into the culture, and you know that you come on here and able to educate a lot of us, you know, give us another insight into the whole Rastafarian faith, even though we just toast the base of it. You know, big up the people who came on tonight to just sit with us. You know, it's a busy weekend. And those who will watch it later on, you know, spread the word. And we just say that you stay safe out there. And for the Stets family, you know, Stets will always have its place. Right there, so nobody knows me I like it. But right at the chest, you know,
our place, man. Our
work
place,
on
man.
integrity every day.
Our place, man. We give thanks to have such an institution as a common thread, you know?
Yeah, man. So
yeah, man, we give thanks, man. Much respect, man.
Blessing, my brother. And blessing
Stay safe, man.
All
and safety for the family, you see me I say?
Yeah, man. Love.
All right, Regine. Much respect. We look forward to the future.
That's the way there.
Manners and respect.
All right, boss. All right, guys, we just want to say thank you for tonight. Thank you for showing up, you know, and we just want to say go on out there and be your best self, you know. What you put in is what you get out. So guess what?
Give it all.
All right. That's the conclusion. All right, boss.
Much respect.